All right. Well, welcome. It's our power yoga day or more our strength building day. We focus a little more on strength building on Thursdays. And today we're gonna do that back to the basics, just the longer holds, going for at least 90, 100 seconds for each hold, taking very slow vinyasa passes, slowly floating out to plank, slowly lowering down. Very slow and mindful core work and back bends, and we'll finish up with longer holds in the stretches too. We'll kind of, you know, we will relax a little longer as well after holding the poses a little longer. But to begin, I invite you to find a comfortable seat, wiggling out the sitting bones and closing the eyes or having that soft gaze downward and beginning to step into the breath. Each inhale, getting a little deeper, extending each exhale out just a little bit longer. Today, having the freedom to add anything you want to this quiet breathing, centering time. You want to bring in your personal meditation practice or any visualization. We're just slowing things down by focusing on the breath and the rise and fall of the chest, the air entering, exiting the nostrils. And noticing how we're feeling today. How is your body feeling? How is your rest of your day going to go? We all have lots of plans, things to do. How may we approach these things? Being rushed, fear, nervousness, anxiety. We approach the rest of our day with this calming mindset. Can we just take another breath in and out? Taking just a couple more here. Next inhale, biggest one yet, filling belly, ribs, and chest. And then slowly releasing. And one last one, big, deep, three-part breath. Expanding the whole torso, taking in one more sip of air, and then slowly releasing out the nose. And returning to the natural rhythm of our breath. And on our next inhale, finding that cow pose, squeezing shoulder blades together, raising the gaze, exploring that slight pause. And then as we exhale, tucking chin to chest, rounding the spine, shoulder blades pulling apart. And taking a couple more of these at your pace. Connecting your breath with your movement. There is no wrong way to do any of this stuff. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. If something does not feel good, start feeling too much strain or any sharp tingling pain, back out. Take a break. And we're taking about one more round here. One more time. We started with that inhale, inhaling into that cow pose, finishing on that exhale with that cat back stretch there, pausing there just for one extra breath in and out. And then next inhale, we're slowly uncurling the spine, rising back to that tall seated position and making our way to standing. And finding our mountain pose and bringing our props along with us, either blocks or chair at the top of the mat, or maybe we're just using the mat today. And finding our mountain pose, feet hip distance apart, eyes still closed, or that soft gaze downward. Spreading the toes wide and gripping the mat, keeping that slight bend in the knees. Pelvis tucked in, spine tall, chin parallel, shoulders back and down. Taking one more breath in and out. And next inhale, we're inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, and just hanging out here in this first forward fold. Stillness is always an option. We're giving time under tension on the low back. We can also play into putting weight in the heels, weight in the toes, just rocking back and forth, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, and swaying back and forth, shaking the head yes, shaking the head no. Anything at all. Taking two more breaths here, bringing our awareness to our fingers. And on these next two exhales, can you send that breath to the low back? Can you soften in? Can you notice the fingers falling? Just a little bit. And then your next inhale, soft bend the knees, and we're ragdolling up, slowly uncurling. Big, long, slow breath in here. Exhaling, rolling the shoulders back and down, arriving back in that mountain pose. And then your next inhale, inhaling, both arms up overhead, interlacing fingers, pointers extended. Another breath in, lengthening, and then as we exhale, small sway right. Inhaling, right back up. Exhale, small sway left. Inhaling, right back up. Exhale, swaying right. This time holding. We can keep biceps squeezing the ears. We can drop that right hand down, lean that left arm over a little more. Reaching over towards the bar side of the room. And then your next inhale, right arm rises back up overhead, fingers interlaced, pointers extended. Exhale, side bend left. Keep the fingers together, keep the biceps to the ears, maybe drop that left hand down. And then pressing into that left hip, use that support, get a little deeper. No option is better or worse than another one. We're just finding what we need and trying to stick with that. Next inhale, left arm rises back up overhead, exhaling, hands coming down through heart center. And then another big breath in, inhaling, both arms up. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, right foot steps back, followed by the left, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, and we're here to stretch. We're here to wake it up. Pressing away through the palms, dipping the head down, getting into the upper back, the shoulder blades, hips pressed up towards the ceiling. And we can pedal the feet out, bending one knee, dropping the opposite heel a little closer to the mat. We can take one more big breath in. And then as we exhale, finding that stillness, doing all three, sinking heels down, raising hips up, pressing away through the palms, dipping the head down. And next breath in and out. Inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe finding that slight back bend at the top and exhaling, hands to heart center. One breath in. And return to mountain, pedaling out the feet from here. Little gentle twist this morning, twisting towards the left first. Left hand is coming behind the back, palm is facing out. Right hand crosses the belly, and then we just attempting to twist just from the torso up. Hips not moving. Next inhale, we're slowly uncurling, switching out the hands. Left hand comes across the front of the belly, right hand behind the back, palm facing out, and then gaze over the right shoulder, adding that little neck stretch as well. Next inhale, slowly uncurling, dropping arms back down into mountain pose, pedaling out the feet. Taking another breath in, exhaling into that stillness, and inhaling both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, place the hands, left foot steps back, followed by the right, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, pedaling out the feet, pressing away through the palms, stretching it out. Next inhale, we're floating out to plank. And then we're warming up the core. We're going mountain climbers, elbow to knee, elbow to nose, or knee to nose, opposite knee, opposite elbow. We're going to do 2 of each. So right, starting left or right side, knee to elbow, 1 and 2, knee to nose, right down the middle, 1 and 2, and then cross it over, opposite knee, opposite elbow, 1 and 2. Exhaling, hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in and out. Next inhale, floating out to plank. 6 mountain climbers, 2 of each again, knee to elbow, step it back, 1 and 2, knee to nose, 1 and 2, opposite knee, opposite elbow, cross it over, 1 and 2, and exhale, hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Next inhale, floating out to plank. Last set, 6 mountain climbers, bringing me up for 1 and 2, knee to nose, 1 and 2, cross it over, 1 and 2, exhale, hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in and out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe finding that slight back bend at the top, and exhaling, hands to heart center. And then from here, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, bending the knees, dropping the hips, chair pose. Choosing our options for our hands. Weight is in the heels, pelvis is in that anterior tilt. Hands can be at heart center. We can come shoulder height, shoulder width. We can raise them up a little higher. Raise the hands up. We can stretch them out. We can be as active as we want here. And coming back to the breath, we're in, starting those longer holds. Now, have we found that place where we feel the legs are firing up, but we can stay with the breath, keep our focus, keep our attention on the breath, keep the face relaxed. About 20 more seconds. Can we drop the hips a little more on the next exhale? Can we feel that burn? You can do it. One more breath in and out. And then next inhale, we're rising up, arms coming shoulder height, shoulder width, pedaling out the feet, and then coming right into tiptoe pose. Raising the heels up. Now tongue to the roof of the mouth here. Taking that spot out on the floor, steady gaze, steady breath, steady body. Almost done. Can we raise the heels up a little more? Work those toes, rip them into the mat. Doing fantastic, doing fantastic. One more breath in. And then as we exhale, heels sinking down, arms out by the side, pedaling out the feet, rolling out the shoulders. One more. We're revisiting the squat series from yesterday, but adding a little bit to it. Returning to the mountain pose, getting comfortable in the feet, wiggling them out, gripping the pads, gripping the mat. With those toe pads, we're bringing arms back out, shoulder height, shoulder width. And this time, as we exhale, standing here, we're just beginning to bend the knees. Weight coming towards the toes. The heels want to raise the heels. And we're attempting to keep the shoulders directly above the hips, back perpendicular with the floor. This is going to fire everything up very quickly. How slowly, how deeply can you breathe? We're halfway done. I know it's getting shaky. We don't have to go as deep. Just 20 more seconds. 2 long, slow rounds of deep breathing in and out. One more big, deep inhale. Exhaling, last one, sinking just a little lower, and then inhale, rising back up, tiptoe pose. Exhale, sink the heels down, pedal the feet out. Returning to mountain pose, gonna stretch it out a little bit. Next inhale, inhaling both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, right foot steps back, followed by the left, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Next inhale, right leg rises. Exhaling, knee to nose. Stepping it through, we're angling that right foot out. Toes are angled outside of our props. And then taking the time here to walk that back leg back. Getting that left leg as far back as we can. And then from here on our inhale, we're dipping into that right knee. Finding that cow pose with the torso as we exhale, straightening the front leg. Tucking the chin, rounding the spine. And then just playing into this. Holding one of these stretches if one feels really good, if the inner thighs are feeling really tight, if they're talking to you this morning, when we dip in, hold here, stay here. It's the hamstrings. Hold after that exhale. And eventually on our next exhale, we're all meeting in that cat back stretch, in that hamstring stretch with that right leg extended out. And then from here, as we inhale, dropping the right foot down, coming into our high lunge base. And we're just here to step that right foot back to meet the left. Pressing hips up and back, downward dog, press away through the palms, pedal out the feet, dip that head down. And then option for a flow here, very slow, mindful flow. Next inhale, we're floating out the plank. Pausing here, staying with the breath, but pressing away through the palms, engaging the core. And on your next exhale, slowly lowering elbows, brushing the rib cage. Inhaling into that upward dog, straightening the arms, dropping the hips, raising the gaze. Exhale, hips up and back. Downward dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through, angling that left foot out. And then taking those 90 seconds on this side as we inhale, dipping in. Finding that cow stretch, raising the gaze, shoulder blades squeeze together as we exhale, tucking chin to chest, rounding the spine, straightening the left leg. And just playing into this. About 30 more seconds on this side. If there's any place your body is asking to be, any of these stretches you want to hold them now. Soften in, use the breath, soften in. And eventually on our next exhale, we're all meeting in that cat back stretch with that left leg straightened, maybe raising the toes up on that left leg and playing into slightly bending and straightening that knee and finding different sensations for that hamstring stretch. And then next inhale, we're hinging forward, returning to that high lunge base. And then exhaling, left foot stepping back to meet the right, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. Exhaling, let it go. And then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Pausing here, pressing away. One more breath in. And exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Another breath in. And out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hand. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up, maybe. Finding that slight back bend at the top and exhaling, hands to heart center. One breath in and return to mountain. Wonderful, wonderful. Pedaling out the feet, getting the little wiggles out and coming back to that mountain pose, grinding down through the feet, eyes closed or soft gaze downward. We check on that slight bend in the knees, pelvis tilted in, shoulders down and back. And next inhale, we're inhaling both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, left foot steps back, followed by the right, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, inhaling, right leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. And we're dropping that left foot down. Dropping the left heel down, so left toes are facing the left side of the mat. And then on our next inhale, left arm cartwheels up and over. We straighten the right leg and palms face the mirror. And we're gazing over right thumb and then beginning to hinge forward. Reaching forward as if we're shaking someone's hand and then dropping that right hand down. Left arm reaching up, finding that triangle pose. And while we're here, we kind of want to find stillness. We have that option to use this right arm to generate that twist. The back of our right hand is coming down into our inner thigh, inner knee, and we're pressing into the inside of that right leg to stack the shoulders. We are going to stretch it out after this. One more big breath in and out. And then next inhale, reverse in the triangle. Just hinging at the hips. And now that right arm is extending up. Left arm traveling down the back leg. Choosing our gaze. Adding that neck stretch. Maybe we're gazing back at the left foot. Maybe up at the right arm. And we're attempting to create a nice long line, fingers to toes on the right side body. Attention is still on the breath or on that right side body. Noticing the rib cage is expanding as we reach that right arm up, trying to grab a ceiling tile. One more big breath in. And then as we exhale, bending into the right knee, starting that long cartwheel down as we pivot. Left foot forward. When our hands arrive, right foot steps back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in and out. And then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Pausing here, pressing away through the palms. One more breath in, core active. As we exhale, slowly lowering elbows, brushing the rib cage. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale. Down dog, a big breath in and out. Next inhale, left leg rises. Exhaling, knee to nose, stepping it through, adjusting our base. Before we rise, finding our edge, scooting that right foot back a little, eventually dropping the right heel, toes pointed out to the right, and then on our inhale, right arm starts the cartwheel up and over, left arm follows as we straighten. The left leg gazing over our left thumb. From here, next inhale, begin hinging forward, like trying to shake somebody's hand, and dropping left arm down. Right arm towards 12 o'clock, choosing our gaze. And then choosing our intensity as we generate that twist. Now in triangle, it's easy to, we want to get lower, we can end up dipping the shoulder down, but we don't want to force anything in really any of the poses. Just let the body hinge as far as it wants to hinge. Shoulders don't have to dip. They can stay stacked. And we stay in the foundational aspects of the poses, then we receive the benefits like right where they need to be, right where we're looking for them to happen. One more big breath in here. As you exhale, maybe twisting just a little more. And then next inhale, using the core, reversing the triangle. Right arm traveling down that back leg. Now left arm is reaching nice long line from fingers to toes on that left side body. Choosing our gaze, adding that neck stretch. And if extra intensity, really reaching that left arm up. How far can you reach it? Where can those fingers take you? And we hold that reach, hold that stretch. And one more big breath in here. And then as we exhale, bending into the knee, cartwheeling our hands down, pivoting right foot forward. When our hands arrive, left foot steps back to meet the right, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then next inhale, option to flow, floating out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale. Down dog, another breath in. And out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees. We're slowly walking feet up. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up, maybe finding slight back bend at the top. And exhaling, hands to heart center. One breath in and return to mountain. Wonderful, wonderful. From here, getting to find our wide leg base, bringing heels in, toes out, and then coming down into our half lift, hands onto our props, our chair or blocks on their highest setting. And with heels in, toes out, finding our edge again, we're going to take 1 minute each side, or 2 minutes total, playing into bending into one knee and straightening the opposite leg. And we can walk our hands across the mat, across the floor as we do this. We can walk our hands with the blocks. We can hold one of these stretches. If it feels really good, hold the stretch. We can bring hands to heart center and turn this into a little strength building exercise. Yeah, I know the legs may be a little sore today, but knees and hips, it can be a real pain in the butt. Gotta keep them mobile, keep them, all those muscles around them as strong as we can. And then evening out both sides, meeting in the middle, dropping the arms, dropping the head, neck, and shoulders. From here, next inhale, we're coming up to a half lift, flat back, and beginning to heel toe the feet in. And we're going to come down through squat. We're still going to end up with heels in, toes out, and lowering the hips down and taking a couple breaths here for any intuitive movements, pulsing up and down, wiggling side to side, and then eventually making our way down onto our bums. And then bringing our blocks to the side of our ankles. And we're going to continue a little hip flexor work. You're welcome. And here, just one at a time, we're going to tap the block, tap outside, tap the block, tap in, and then take that onto the other side. Two more each side. After we've evened out both sides, bringing that right foot up, holding that right there, and then little circles, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and slowly lower, raising left leg up, 12 little circles, 2, 3, and slowly lower. Pedaling the feet out. From here, rolling on, facing the mirror first. Rolling onto one side, and here we're getting elbow right under the shoulder. Palm is facing down, fingers spread wide, opposite hand on the hip. And here we're going to start out with the hip flexors first. We're going to extend the top leg and then slowly lift and lower. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Bending that knee. Knees are stacked, hips are stacked. From here on our next inhale, we're raising the hips up. Option to raise that right arm up as well. And then 12 little hip kisses, lowering the hips down, raising them back up for 1, just tapping the mat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Holding that 12th one up, extending that right leg out again, and then 3 little leg lifts. 1, 2, and 3. Slowly lower with control and switching sides. Elbow under shoulder. Fingers spread wide on that right hand, left hand on the hip, hip stacked, knees stacked. We're going to extend that left leg out first. And little leg lifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Stack the hips, stack the knees. Left hand returns to the hip as we raise the hips up, and then 12 little hip kisses, lowering them down, touching the mat, coming up for 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Holding the 12th, extending that left leg up. 3 more leg lifts coming up for 1, and 2, and 3, and slowly lower. Coming down onto your backs, bringing a block with you. Taking a little breather. I know I need a little breather after that. But from here, arms out to a T. We're going to float the feet one at a time, looking for about a 90-degree bend. Toes are pointed. And then here, attempting to keep that 90-degree bend and just lowering down the whole leg with that 90-degree bend, tapping down one at a time. 2, just tapping the toes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Tapping both feet down. Maybe taking some windshield wipers here or a double knee hug. What is your body asking for? Take a little break, roll it out. And eventually even out both sides, finding stillness. Knees are bent, soles of the feet on the mat, and we're floating the feet one at a time, finding that 90-degree bend. We're going 12 more, and these can be double toe taps, or we can go back to doing one at a time. But lowering down and rising up for 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and slowly lower. Grabbing that block, extending the legs long. Block overhead, full body stretch. Toes pointed, fingers reaching, and then one slow curl up, bringing that ball up overhead, reaching it towards the feet as we slowly roll up. Wonderful, wonderful. Setting that block down, spinning our legs around to the back, and making our way onto our tummies. And then when we're here, coming right onto elbows. Feet comfortable distance apart. Doesn't have to be hip distance. We can make it a little wider. Elbows right under shoulders, fingers spread wide. Palms down. We're going to press down onto the tops of the feet. That's going to hover the kneecaps, protect the low back. As we raise the gaze, eyes are closed. We're still soft gaze downward. One more breath in here. And then as we exhale, rolling on to our favorite side, resting our cheek on our bicep, curling the knees in. Taking a couple breaths here, and then eventually pressing ourselves up to seated and gathering any props you might enjoy for a forward fold. Propping the hips up on a blanket can be comfortable sometimes. Helps bring exaggerate that natural curve in the low back. And then bringing feet comfortable distance apart. And depending on how hamstrings are feeling, we can put blocks under the knees here. Going right down the middle. One long stretch here. Inhaling both arms up overhead. And as we exhale, starting with that hinge, with that reach back as far as we can, and then eventually rounding the spine. Tucking the chin, dropping the arms. And then first 30 seconds. No stress, no strain, no effort. Next inhale, taking deep 3-part breaths, filling belly, ribs, and chest. And as we empty it out, using that space, creating that space, and creeping the hands forward, dipping the head down a little lower. And just with the thought, just with the power of your thoughts, send the breath, send the exhale to those areas of tension, those areas of tightness. The body will listen. Your next inhale, slowly uncurling. Rising up one vertebra at a time, removing any props we may have been using, grabbing our straps. Doing the straps again, hand on the sole of the right foot with some tension on that strap. As we lower down onto our backs, bringing that right leg up into the air with us as we do, straps into the right hand. And then as we exhale, that leg is just falling out to the right. And here we can just let gravity do the work. We can play into the tension on the strap. How much tug are we pulling on that heel? Are we bringing it closer to the waistline? Are we just letting gravity take over? Are we finding that sweet spot in the middle? We know we're getting a stretch, but we're not bringing ourselves into any pain or anything. And then your next inhale, we're raising that leg back up towards the ceilings, moving the strap into the left hand as we exhale, twisting left, gazing right, and holding here on this side with that leg drooped over the top. We can still play into heel position, but we can also play into hip position. Is that right hip stacked right on top of left, pressing it down to the mat, just exploring these little adjustments you can make. And next inhale, we're beginning to slowly raise that right leg back up towards 12 o'clock. When we do, as we exhale, slowly lowering the right heel down to meet the left. Stepping into the strap with the left foot. And then helping, pulling, tugging, helping that left foot back up towards the ceiling with the straps in the left hand on an exhale, allowing that leg to just fall out to the left. Next inhale, left leg begins to rise back up towards the ceilings, moving the strap into the right hand, and we're twisting right, gazing left, adjusting that heel position, adjusting that hip position, making sure both shoulders are on the mat. Next inhale, left leg begins to rise back up. And as we exhale, slowly lowering left leg down to meet the right, stepping out of the straps, finding our windshield wipers, bending the knees, soles of the feet on the mat. Taking our feet out to the edge, allowing the pinky toes to find the wood and the knees falling left and falling right. evening out both sides. And then at this time, taking any other movements or stretches or poses. This can be a time to go right into Shavasana and give ourselves double knee hug or full body stretch. Find an inversion, a supported bridge or supported legs up the wall. Beginning to deepen the breath. Bringing movement back to the fingers and toes. Make our way back to our comfortable seat, wiggling out the sitting bones and closing with one final inhale. Inhaling both arms up overhead, gathering new energy for the day. Exhaling, hands to heart center, sealing that in, carrying that with us. And I thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to speak with me after class. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.